Hello viewers, you welcome to another news hour on Jamano Media and Products. We first begin with our headlines. National Intelligence Agency Director General Usman Sow escapes ban. I-22 to be renamed Never Again. Government working on modalities to prosecute Jammeh. Those were the headlines. We now have the news in detail. The current director of NIA, Usman Sow, has escaped banning as recommended by the Truth, Reconciliation and the Reparations Commission. The TRRC recommended a ban on Usman Sow from holding public office with the government of the Gambia for a minimum period of 10 years for the destruction and concealment of evidence at the NIA. However, according to the white paper released yesterday, government notes that while the action alleged above are said to have happened in May 2017, the TRRC mandate covers the period from July 1994 to January 2017. The government is therefore of the view that this recommendation goes beyond the scope of the TRRC's mandate. Alleged expert told the Standard that this now means that the ban could not affect Mr. Sow because the mandate of the TRRC stops at a time when Mr. Sow was not in office to have alleged concealed evidence, so the ban does not affect him, the expert said. Meanwhile, the government has said it has partially accepted the ban of former IGP Yankuba Sonko and senior police chief Malamin Sise from holding public office for 10 years for their roles in covering up the killings of the West African migrants, but it has referred it for further investigation in light of potentially exculpatory evidence submitted in favor of Yankuba Sonko. On the recommendation to ban Harry Sambo and Samsidin Sar from holding public office for 5 years for their participation in the torture of Omar Damfa and Bala Kante, respectively. The white paper said government partially accepts the recommendation of the commission but notes that while Harry Sambu was given the opportunity to testify before the commission, Samsidin Sar was not afforded a similar opportunity despite of his well-published calls for an opportunity to appear before the commission and respond to the allegations leveled against him by Bala Kante. It is the government's view that this is inconsistent with his right to fair hearing. The government further noted that this made that the TRRC failed to inquire further into the cold-blooded killing of 6 young soldiers in the Farafenya Army Barracks attack of 1996, nor did it make any attempts to establish their victimhood and that of their survivors. It is the government's position that Corporal Sekou Sidibe, Corporal Esa Keita, Private Ibrahima Mane, Staff Sergeant Lamin Baji, Private Bakari Sedi, and Private Ibrahima Boja died defending the territorial integrity of the Gambia and shall be given due post-mortem honors by the Gambia Armed Forces. Their survivors shall equally be classified as victims and shall be eligible to receive reparations. The government of the Gambia will rename the I-22 in Banjul to Never Again Memorial Arch in honor of the former president's victims of human rights violations. That was part of the recommendations submitted to the President and the Attorney General by the Truth, Reconciliation and the Reparations Commission. The recommendation was considered and was part of the 263 approved by the government in the white paper published on Wednesday, 25th May 2022. Speaking at the official launching at the white paper on the report of the TRRC, the Attorney General and the Minister of Justice Dawda Jallow said the government will rename I-22 to Never Again in memory of victims of Jammeh and will renovate it and erect a wall with the names of Jammeh's victims. The government recognizes the importance of memorialization as a way of acknowledging and remembering all victims of human rights violations. The government will consult with victims and victim elite organizations on the development and implementation of a comprehensive national memorization framework that represents all victims groups, the white paper added. The government of the Gambia yesterday accepted all the recommendations by the Truth, Reconciliation and the Reparations Commissions with regards to the prosecution of perpetrators of human rights violations, including ex-President Yahya Jammeh, for the myriad crimes committed between July 1994 to January 2017. Attorney General and Minister of Justice Dawda Jallow, in a press conference during the release of the white paper held at Sadauda Kairaba Jawara Conference Center, stated that Jammeh will certainly face justice, adding a prosecution office will soon be set up to work on his journey to justice. The modalities of how they do about this are being worked out, and they are working on a prosecution strategy that will inform the processes about it. And in any event, Jammeh will face justice on the atrocities he had committed, Mr. Jallow added. Mr. Jallow said out of 263 recommendations made by the Truth, Reconciliation and the Reparations Commission, only 2 had been rejected. He added that, with the exception of the 2 rejected recommendations, where the government does not necessarily agree with the proposed recommendations, it sets out an alternative model of implementation to meet the overall objective of the recommendation. The 2 recommendations that were rejected include the labeling of foreign judges as machineries and the granting of amnesty to Sanabairo Sabali on the basis that he served time in prison for false crimes leveled against him. According to the white paper, for 22 years, Yahya Jammeh ruled the Gambia with an iron fist, adding during his regime extrajudicial killings, rape, torture, and enforced disappearance, and numerous grievances, human rights violations become part and parcel of his military junta. Aided by his enablers, including the junglers, his professional killers, and the National Intelligence Services (NIA), Yahya Jammeh used these instruments to enrich himself in power by instilling fear in the hearts of ordinary Gambians or anyone perceived to be in position in his regime, white paper revealed. Those were the stories of our today's newscast. But before we take a leave of you, let's take a recap on our top stories. National Intelligence Agency Director General Usman Sow escapes ban. Arch 22 to be renamed Never Again. Government working on modalities to prosecute Jammeh. Those were the stories for our today's newscast. Thank you for joining us with your presenter, Maria McGillen. Do have a nice day.